Hi, I'm Dave Kassler, KE0OG, here with a quickie. The last video I put up was the unboxing of the BITX 40 kit that came from India. This video is about the strategy for how I'm going to put that together and do my testing on it. I'm going to temporarily mount it right in the box it came with, and I'm doing that because that way I can keep it all closed up during testing and don't have to worry about the cats finding a new toy. So here it is, the strategy. Hi, Dave Kassler here. This is the case that my BITX 40 came in, a little plastic case. Now what I see most people do who are on YouTube is they take this and this and they connect all their wires and they've got the components laid out around it. My concern with doing that is that we have cats and they tend to take things that are on this table and they end up on the floor. So before I even power it up, I'm going to sort of tentatively mount this right in the box. Now we know that from the antenna, it's not supposed to be very far to the plug, or jack rather, but we know that that fits right there. Now I've put these little spacers on the bottom. The spacers come with the kit, and it holds it up I think a little too far, because see how this box has a sort of a ridge right here, and it's hard to mount something right along that ridge. So the other thing that has to be mounted in here is the combination of the display board and the Arduino. Now I note that mine came slightly squashed. It seems to be fine. There's some give in there in the pins. Now it's interesting that the holes that are here in this board do not line up with the holes there, so I can't use something between them. I'm going to have to come up with something to hold that very firmly in place. Now you've also got the cables to deal with down here on the bottom. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use those standoff spacers for this, but they won't go quite down far enough. I mean, the cover will close, but you can see that this piece is more off the floor of the plastic box than the spacers will allow for. So what I did was I went down to Radio Shack. I couldn't find this. I tried Home Depot, I tried Ace, I tried True Value. They did not have 440 hardware, because if you take a 632, see, that's the nut, here's the screw. The 6 is the smallest that's carried in most hardware stores, and I wanted to use these as spacers, because what I was going to do, and it almost worked there but not quite, is come through the bottom of this, come through the bottom, put a little hole in it, put a nut down to hold that nut up like that, put another nut like right there, drop the board over it and put a nut on the top, and then that would very nicely hold the thing in place. But I can't do it with number 6. So I've got all these number 6 screws I can't use. I think I have a lifetime supply of them now. But I went to Radio Shack. Of all people, I went in there because it was on the way home. I'd gone to Home Depot to check on this, and I thought, oh, maybe Radio Shack has them because they're for electronics kits. And sure enough, here is an assortment of these little screws. It's the part number you can see there, 6403011, and it's got different length screws. And these will allow me, I think, to build up enough of a base that I can put this on this, and we'll be in good shape. May have to rig something up with the 6 screws to build a little ridge across here or something like that to set that on, because see, these cables don't come at an angle, they come right off the bottom. So that'll put that there. Now there's lots of room. Now I can put the push buttons. Oh, I went down and got myself some real push buttons. The one that see, these are the normally closed ones. Here's some normally open ones. I got these are a little more panel mountable as you can see in here, than the one that came with the kit, which was actually a printed circuit board mounted type button. So this will go here. Now I've got a little room. See, I can put like the audio and microphone jack here and the push-to-talk switch over here, but then I've got those pots to worry about, so I thought I'd put them in here. So they'd have that on the front. There's still a little room that this can scoot back in here to give me just a little room to put the connectors in there. So I will do that. Next step, I think, is to mount this board, because everything seems to revolve around it. Now I'm going to mount it only long enough to measure out where the parts will go, and then I'll punch some holes in here and start mounting the other things. Now, when I do the soldering of the wires, I'm going to have the circuit boards out so that I don't splash solder onto the circuit board while I'm soldering to the controls and all of those things like that. So that is my plan. Let's see how we do. Okay, I'm going to get ready to drill the holes for this in the plastic case. Now to do that, I'm turning it over so that I can see just where I want to put that board in there, and then I'm going to mark very carefully where the holes are going to go. Oh, let's get that lined up. Okay, I'll probably just do 2 initially, but we'll see how that works, okay? And that way I know where to put the holes. So, here's how I'm doing the holes. I just did one there. Let's try this one here. This plastic, although soft, quite soft, is actually quite firm. No wonder this is used as the shipping case that Farhan uses, because it's actually quite tough. Now I'm using this little, it's a jeweler's screwdriver, a Phillips right there. I'm just pretending it's a drill. Okay, so I'm going to now push on this, and this is hard because I'm kind of really shaky as a person, and I don't really want to stab myself. There. Okay, it broke through and we have a nice little hole right there. Now let's give it a try and see if it works. We're going to take some of these. See, I'm going to have to get another jar for these. Let's see if we can get, there's some longer ones in here. Whoops, that wasn't enough to get it off, was it? Okay. And we'll just kind of spread a few right here. Now these are the longest ones, so I'm going to use these. Put one right through here, which I think I'm going to have to screw in. Oh, that's flat bladed. Oh, I thought I got Phillips. Okay, there it is. It's all the way in. One of these all the way in. Just kind of push. There. Now, see, they come up inside here. One there, one there. Let's see how far we were off. Okay, we're going to put that over there. And this, okay, right there. Alright, so they actually fit. Now, what I'm going to do is actually build these up just a little bit. Again, I'm doing it this way so that I can test it. I want it tested all in one piece, and then if I need to do any troubleshooting, it's all put together. And I'm really bad with my fingers about putting these nuts on. Oops. And we'll keep trying. Okay, let's take that all the way down there. Okay, now I'm going to put another nut on. You know, I think I'm going to do this a little different. I realized I had to work really hard to get that nut on, but I'm going to put a washer in here. Got all these washers, lots of washers. They come in here, a bunch of different sizes. Oh gee, washers in bags within washers. And I don't think it much matters the size, because there's lots of room here. Oh, and we won't be impinging on anything. So, open this up. I think the people who design these plastic bags do not have old men in mind when they do it. But let's take a small washer here. Slide this off the table to get it. Okay, put it on there. Now I'm going to put this on there. See if I can get that to go on again. Okay. Like that. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing with the little washer and a nut. All kinds of nuts out here. In fact, I've got peanuts right here on the table, so there are all kinds of nuts around. And I think a number of people would think I'm nuts. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Okay, we want to put this here. And it isn't exact. Doesn't really need to be exact. Okay. Now the question is that up off the bottom enough for the purposes of testing and troubleshooting? And I think the answer to that is yes. So I'm just going to put little nuts on here. Okay. Oops. There's one thing you don't want to do is lose a metal part on a circuit board. That can lead to very bad things happening. So I've got that over there, holding that in place. Let's see if I can repeat that here. Nope. Again, keep track of your parts. You don't want to lose one on a circuit board, because metal conducts, which is why we make our electronics out of metal, right? Okay, let's take a look at this. Is that in there? Sure looks like it, isn't it? And it's got enough room underneath the board. And I may have to put this one in here too, because it's pretty flexible in there. Now, for this part here, you know, I don't even know which way is up on this. I'm going to have to do some viewing. But I think what I'm going to do is build a little something that this can sit on. It can go through there, something made of wood or something. You know, if I were to bring these wires around here on this side, I could put a little piece of wood in there that's screwed from the bottom, and maybe just put a piece of double-sided tape or something on there to hold that in place. After all, I'm not looking for perfection. You might want to move it just a little bit to right there. Okay, and then I got plenty of room up here for the pots and things like that. They can all go in here, and in the back here, since I mounted that thing down a little bit, see, we've got plenty of room in here for like the BNC connector, power connector, and so on can all go on the back. So our controls will be coming out the front and these out the back. So that is my plan of attack.